Your daily shower might be silently increasing your stroke risk by more than 40%, and you probably have no idea it's happening. Right now, as you're watching this, millions of seniors over 60 are stepping into their showers and unknowingly creating the perfect conditions for a stroke. Scientists have been studying these connections for years, and what they discovered is absolutely shocking. A major study published in the American Journal of Hypertension tracked over 3,000 seniors and found that certain shower habits directly correlate with stroke incidence within hours of bathing. This isn't about cleanliness or hygiene. This is about specific behaviors during showering that cause dangerous blood pressure spikes, blood vessel constriction, and even blood clot formation. The most alarming part is that these habits seem completely harmless on the surface. The number one habit on our list today is something that 87% of seniors do without thinking twice, and studies from the Journal of the American Heart Association found it increases stroke risk by a staggering 43% in people over 60. Once you understand what's happening inside your body during these moments, you can make simple changes that could literally save your life. You can find all research and medical studies in the description below if you'd like to dive deeper after watching. Before we begin, tell us in the comments now your age and where you're watching us from. We're reading and replying to every single comment, so drop your comments below. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Number 5. Showering immediately after eating. Showering right after a meal seems perfectly normal, maybe even refreshing. But here's what's actually happening inside your body. When you eat food, your digestive system demands a massive increase in blood flow. Your stomach and intestines need extra blood to break down food and absorb nutrients. Studies show that up to 30% of your total blood volume gets redirected to your digestive organs after eating. Now add hot water into this equation. The heat from your shower causes your blood vessels near the skin to dilate and expand. This pulls even more blood away from your core and toward your skin surface to regulate temperature. Your body is now in a crisis situation. It's trying to send blood to your digestive system while simultaneously sending blood to your skin. For younger people with healthy circulation, this might just cause mild dizziness. But for seniors over 60, especially those with existing cardiovascular issues, this creates a perfect storm. A study conducted at Tokyo Medical University followed 2,400 seniors for 18 months. They found that those who showered within 30 minutes of eating had a 21% higher incidence of dizziness, fainting, and what researchers called vasovagal responses. These are episodes where blood pressure drops so suddenly that blood flow to the brain becomes dangerously reduced. The brain is incredibly sensitive to blood flow changes. It needs constant oxygen-rich blood to function. When blood gets pulled away from the brain to manage digestion and temperature regulation simultaneously, you're essentially starving your brain of oxygen. Research from the European Heart Journal demonstrated that sudden drops in cerebral blood flow can trigger what's called a water stroke. This happens in the boundary zones between major blood vessels in the brain. When overall blood flow decreases even temporarily, these zones suffer first. The Tokyo study revealed something even more concerning. Among seniors who experienced stroke-like symptoms or actual strokes within 6 hours of showering, 44% had eaten a meal less than an hour before bathing. Your body simply cannot handle both demands at once without compromising something critical. Now let's talk about the opposite temperature problem. Number 4. Taking extremely cold showers. Cold showers have become trendy in recent years. Social media influencers and wellness gurus promote them for energy, alertness, and health benefits. But for seniors over 60, especially those with any cardiovascular risk factors, cold showers can be genuinely life-threatening. When cold water hits your skin, your body initiates an immediate emergency response. Your blood vessels constrict rapidly. This is called vasoconstriction, and it's your body's attempt to reserve core temperature by reducing blood flow to the skin. But this sudden constriction has a dramatic effect on blood pressure. Within seconds, your blood pressure can spike dramatically. A landmark study published in Circulation examined the effects of cold water immersion on cardiovascular function in adults over 55. They found that cold water exposure caused systolic blood pressure to increase by an average of 34 points within the first 2 minutes. Some participants saw increases of over 50 points. For context, normal systolic blood pressure is around 120. If you're starting at 130 or 140, which many seniors are, a spike of 30 to 50 points pushes you into dangerous hypertensive crisis territory. Blood pressure of 180 over 120 is considered a medical emergency. The sudden vasoconstriction also affects your heart directly. Your heart has to work much harder to pump blood through constricted vessels. This increases cardiac workload dramatically. For seniors with existing heart disease or weakened heart muscle, this added strain can trigger arrhythmias or even heart attacks. The connection to stroke is equally direct. When blood pressure spikes suddenly, the force of blood against artery walls increases dramatically. If you have any existing plaque buildup or weak spots in your cerebral arteries, this pressure surge can rupture these vessels. This type of stroke is called hemorrhagic stroke, where bleeding occurs inside or around the brain. Japanese researchers studied this phenomenon extensively. Their research, published in the International Journal of Biometeorology, tracked stroke admissions during winter months when people were more likely to experience cold water shock. They documented a 37% increase in stroke incidence among people over 60 who were exposed to sudden cold water. The study specifically noted that the risk was highest in the first 5 minutes of cold exposure and remained elevated for up to an hour afterward. Your blood vessels need time to return to normal after the cold shock. During that recovery period, you're vulnerable. Every cold shower is essentially a stress test for your heart and blood vessels. Let's shift to something that happens inside most showers without anyone thinking about it. Number 3. Straining while showering due to constipation. This habit might seem odd to include, but medical data shows it's more common and dangerous than most people realize. Many seniors experience constipation due to medications, reduced activity, or dietary factors. The bathroom routine often extends to the shower, where people feel they can relax and try to have a bowel movement. But straining during a bowel movement, especially in the hot, humid environment of a shower, creates a deadly combination of physiological stresses. When you strain during defecation, you perform what's called a Valsalva maneuver. You close your throat and push with your abdominal muscles. This dramatically increases pressure in your chest and abdomen. That pressure gets transmitted directly to your blood vessels. Studies show that blood pressure can spike by 40 to 60 points during straining. The New England Journal of Medicine published research examining sudden death and stroke events related to bathroom activities. Among people over 65 who suffered strokes at home, nearly 19% were using the bathroom at the time. Further analysis showed that most of these individuals were straining during bowel movements. The mechanism involves multiple dangerous factors happening at once. First, the Valsalva maneuver spikes blood pressure. Second, it reduces blood return to the heart because the increased pressure in your chest squeezes the major veins that bring blood back from your body. This means less blood reaches your brain temporarily. Then, when you finally release the strain and breathe again, there's a rebound effect. Blood pressure can drop suddenly, then surge again as blood rushes back into circulation. These rapid fluctuations are incredibly dangerous for cerebral blood vessels. Add the hot shower environment to this scenario and things get worse. The heat causes vasodilation, which already affects blood pressure regulation. Your body is trying to manage temperature while also dealing with the extreme pressure changes from straining. Researchers at the University of California, San Diego studied this specific combination. They found that the hot, humid environment of a shower amplifies the blood pressure effects of straining by approximately 23% compared to straining in a normal bathroom environment. The heat makes your blood vessels more compliant and reactive. When pressure spikes occur, the vessels respond more dramatically. There's also an arrhythmia risk. The vagus nerve, which helps control heart rhythm, gets stimulated during straining. In the hot environment of a shower, this stimulation can trigger irregular heartbeats. For seniors with existing heart conditions, these irregular rhythms can reduce blood flow to the brain enough to cause stroke. A Japanese study published in the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases examined the timing of stroke events throughout the day. They found a notable cluster of strokes occurring during morning bathroom routines. After controlling for other variables, they determined that the combination of shower heat and bathroom straining accounted for a significant portion of these morning stroke events. Never strain during bowel movements, especially not in a hot shower. Now we're getting to the more common but equally dangerous habits. Number 2. Standing up too quickly after sitting in the shower. Many seniors sit down while showering because standing for extended periods becomes difficult or tiring. Shower chairs and benches are common and generally a good safety tool, but what happens when you stand up from that seated position is where danger lurks. This habit directly relates to something called orthostatic hypotension. This is a sudden drop in blood pressure that occurs when you change positions from sitting or lying down to standing. Your blood pools in your legs due to gravity. Normally, your body has reflexes that quickly constrict blood vessels and increase heart rate to maintain blood pressure and blood flow to your brain when you stand. But as we age, these reflexes slow down. They become less efficient. Add the hot, humid environment of a shower, and those reflexes become even more sluggish. A comprehensive study in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension examined orthostatic hypotension in adults over 60. They found that 32% of this age group experiences some degree of orthostatic hypotension under normal conditions. But when they tested the same individuals in heated environments that mimicked shower temperatures, that percentage jumped to 58%. The heat impairs your body's ability to compensate for position changes. Here's what happens inside your body during these critical seconds after standing up. When you're sitting, blood pools in the lower half of your body. The moment you stand, gravity pulls even more blood downward. Your blood vessels should constrict immediately to push that blood back up. Your heart should beat faster to pump more blood upward. But in the hot shower, your blood vessels are already dilated from the heat. They can't constrict as effectively. Your heart may already be working harder due to heat stress, so it can't increase its rate as much as needed. The result is that blood pressure in your brain drops precipitously. Your brain can go from adequate blood flow to critically low blood flow in just seconds. Most people experience this as dizziness or lightheadedness, but for many seniors, consciousness is lost entirely. They collapse. In a shower with hard surfaces, slippery floors, and obstacles everywhere, a fall can be catastrophic even without a stroke. Research published in Stroke, the Journal of the American Heart Association, tracked 2,000 seniors who had experienced transient ischemic attacks. They interviewed patients about activities just before their TIA. A surprising finding emerged. 17% reported standing up quickly in the shower within minutes before symptom onset. The researchers concluded that the sudden blood pressure drop, even if brief, was enough to cause temporary loss of blood flow to vulnerable brain regions. The German Center for Cardiovascular Research conducted a detailed study using monitoring equipment. They had seniors wear blood pressure monitors that took readings every 30 seconds while showering. When participants stood up quickly from a seated position in the shower, average systolic blood pressure dropped by 42 points within 15 seconds. Some individuals saw drops of over 60 points. It took an average of 90 seconds for blood pressure to recover to baseline. Those 90 seconds are a window of extreme vulnerability. Your brain is being deprived of optimal blood flow. If you have any clots or blockages, this is when they're most likely to cause a stroke. The solution requires patience and awareness. When you're ready to stand up from a seated position in the shower, you need to do it gradually. Give your body time at each stage to adjust. Now we've reached the most dangerous habit of all. Number 1. Taking very hot showers for extended periods. This is it. The single most dangerous shower habit for seniors over 60, and it's something the vast majority of people do every single day without any idea of the risk they're taking. Hot showers feel amazing. The heat relaxes muscles, relieves tension, and provides comfort. But for seniors, that comfort comes with an extremely high price. When you step into a very hot shower, your body immediately begins a complex response to manage the heat stress. Your blood vessels dilate to bring blood to the skin surface where heat can escape. Your heart rate increases to pump more blood through this expanded vascular network. You start sweating to cool down through evaporation. All of these responses are designed to prevent overheating, but each of these responses also stresses your cardiovascular system tremendously. The landmark study that revealed just how dangerous this habit is was published in the Journal of the American Heart Association in 2019. Researchers followed 3,200 adults over 65 for 5 years. They tracked showering habits through surveys and correlated this data with cardiovascular events, including stroke. The results were staggering. Seniors who regularly took showers with water temperature above 105 degrees Fahrenheit for longer than 15 minutes had a 43% higher risk of stroke compared to those who took shorter, cooler showers. 43% is an enormous increase in risk for something as simple as shower temperature and duration. Very hot water causes extreme vasodilation. Studies using specialized imaging have shown that blood vessels can dilate by up to 40% during hot water exposure. This is your body trying desperately to release heat, but this dilation significantly drops blood pressure. Your body has to work hard to maintain adequate blood pressure for brain function. The heart compensates by beating faster and harder. Research shows heart rate can increase by 30 to 40 beats per minute during hot showers. For a senior whose resting heart rate is already 70 or 80, this pushes them over 100 beats per minute. This is moderate exercise level exertion, except you're not exercising. You're just standing in hot water. Your heart is working this hard simply to maintain blood flow against the resistance of massively dilated blood vessels. Now extend this stress for 15, 20, or 30 minutes. The European Society of Cardiology published research specifically examining prolonged heat exposure and stroke risk. They found that every additional 5 minutes spent in water above 105 degrees increased stroke risk by an additional 8% in seniors over 60. The mechanisms of stroke in this scenario are multiple. First, dehydration becomes a factor. You're sweating in the shower even though you're surrounded by water. You lose fluid. Your blood becomes more viscous and concentrated. This increases clotting risk. A study in the American Journal of Emergency Medicine found that dehydration increases ischemic stroke risk by making blood more likely to clot. Second, the prolonged low blood pressure state reduces blood flow to the brain. If you have any narrowed arteries, this reduced flow means brain tissue isn't getting enough oxygen. Cells start to die. This is stroke. Third, the stress on your heart from maintaining circulation in extreme heat can trigger arrhythmias. Irregular heart rhythms can cause clots to form in the heart chambers. These clots can then travel to the brain, causing embolic stroke. Researchers at Johns Hopkins tracked emergency room admissions for stroke. They found a clear pattern. Stroke admissions increased notably in the hours after typical morning shower times, particularly during winter months when people tend to take hotter showers. They estimated that hot shower-related strokes account for thousands of preventable strokes every year in the United States alone. The most tragic part of this research is how preventable these strokes are. Simply lowering water temperature to around 95 to 100 degrees and limiting shower time to under 10 minutes would eliminate most of this risk. The shower would still be warm and comfortable, just not dangerously hot. But most seniors have no idea this is even a risk factor. What they don't realize is that their age has fundamentally changed how their body handles heat stress. The cardiovascular system of a 65-year-old simply cannot tolerate the same heat exposure that a 30-year-old could handle easily. The science is absolutely clear. These 5 shower habits are dangerous, and the number one habit of taking very hot showers for extended periods is silently putting millions of seniors at risk every single day. But knowledge is power. Now that you understand what's happening inside your body during these activities, you can make simple changes. Lower your water temperature. Limit your shower time. Don't shower right after eating. Avoid cold shocks. Stand up slowly if you sit down. And never strain during bowel movements in the shower. These small adjustments could literally save your life. If you found this information valuable, please hit that subscribe button right now. We're creating content every single week to help you live longer and healthier. Share this video with any seniors in your life because this information needs to reach as many people as possible. And share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.